Hello everybody and welcome back to Dyson Sphere Program Rise of the Dark Fog. The first thing that I want to sort out today is this thing. I do not have enough coal in my system, so this one actually doesn't work at all. And the way I'm gonna fix this is by cutting all of this off. Yeah, that doesn't actually solve the problem, but putting a balancer here and well, a splitter here. Clicking on it. Can I have to input priorities? No, I cannot. That's a bit awkward, but sure. So this is input priority. So we're just gonna top off whatever we get extra. Do you have drones? No. Let's give you a few drones. Like, I could belt this as well, but I can mine it too, so I don't mind that, so let's get mining. I will try to get as much as I can out of this. I'll just do this the very lazy way and connect it like that. And you're gonna be providing coal for this planet. Let's see how many belts I have here. This is a 5, 4, 5. Well, I have plenty of belts actually, so might as well just use them. No point in trying to save up on belts. Oh really, come on. I'm not going to move that power pole because I'm too lazy, so I'm going to do something like that. So that's one very urgent issue solved. The next big thing is that's a good spot here. Really? I have quite a few to place, so I will get as many as I can crammed in. Oh, that's a good one. Okay, 112. 112 is actually quite decent. That's a very good spot as well. I'll take that. Probably the house there. 82 seems a bit too low though. Was a 110 somewhere. There it is. 114. That's perfect. This is a pretty big lake, and I want to maximize the amount of energy I'm drawing out of it. It's actually unexpectedly high. Assuming that these ones will not use any sort of relevant energy. Okay, lack of item. Let's see what the new power production is. So most of these have added quite a bit. We have basically doubled our power production. We can now build some more. This is... Let's set the threshold on this one to half. Oh, now that I have the processors on me in unlimited supply, this makes it very easy to build things. Will these be able to keep up is the question. So this was not outputting, this was not outputting. This is working at roughly half speed. They should still be able to keep up because it's a fairly small increase. Oh, that's interesting. And that's a lot of things to build. A few of them already, so I actually have more than I need. How much is this one consuming? So the speed factor for this one is 1, and the recipe is consuming 2 per second. Yes, 2 per second. I have 3 of these, so that's a 6 per second. That means that we're utilizing this at max capacity, which is good. One other thing that I want to do is this belt here like this. And get a splitter in. This coal reserve will dry up eventually. And once that happens, I want to have this pick up the slack. Want to get rid of the devices of the signal towers. Yes, signal towers are called, because they drain an obscene amount of power. But at the same time, I need to make sure that my grid doesn't collapse by doing this. Really? I will keep 2 of them on, just as a safety measure, and I will keep these ones on as well. 118 megawatts, that's not good. That means that I have just cut off most likely the new that's still the same network. I'll most likely cut off this area. $130. So this is cut off from this, maybe. There we go, 250 megawatts of power. Awesome. So these are 2 major issues sorted. And next thing I'm gonna do is actually head back to my home planet. And get those processors inbound. So while that's happening, let's take a look at our research tree. Currently, no more researchers are in the queue. And while some of the researchers here might be interesting, like move speed, oh, that's not possible. I do want to make a bit of progress with our technology tree. I will ignore military for now. I think it's not that stringent. But I do want to make progress with a few things here. Lack of research materials. Something crashed again, so I do want to get access to the orbital collectors. Why orbital collectors? Well, getting access to orbital collectors means that I need to make sure I can land on the planet properly. I can then go to Sirius 3 and I will be able to harvest hydrogen, I believe, and deuterium. I think were the 2 resources there. Yeah, hydrogen, deuterium. Deuterium at a very low rate, but it's self-powered. I don't need to do anything about it. It will just collect there. So the sooner I get it, the more I'll be able to get for free. Oh! Make sure I hit a planet. Always important to make sure I hit a planet. I do not want to use this as fuel. Oh, I can just do this now. Why are you complaining? I'm recharging. Speaking of trash, do I have anything I need to get rid of in my inventory? I have a ton of these. And let's get rid of these. Are emptying up quite fast, which is a bit worrying. I want to get rid of that excess iron I have. And let's take a look. Can you please import processors up to this point? Just look at them coming. Such a huge batch as well. That is really awesome to see. I'll leave just in case 50 drones here, but I don't need more of them. And processors. How do I want to do this? I'll do this similar to what I have there. Similar build. So I will sure that I can. Oh no, those are too close. Those are too close together, so good thing that I've checked. So you're gonna be storing, where are they? Processors. No, I don't want that. I want you to be a provider for processors. Put them in here, and I will get a few drones. Nice. I will put hats on everything just so that if I really need to get access to a resource, I can get it. Make sure that everything is fully droned up. That looks great. What's this meant to be? This is meant to be gears. Oh wow. Yeah, my gear production is dead. This has no more resources at all. These are not producing at all, so I want this to work. Let me see. That one goes in here, and this one will... Is this tier 3? Yes, that's tier 2 belt. And this needs to... make its way in there, but make it one step closer. Perfect, that is enough belt now. And basically I'm gonna terminate this production chain. So I've been having a bit of trouble with my microphone lately, as you've probably noticed in some of the most recent episodes, and I'm working on a way to correct that more permanently. But for this episode I'm actually going to try to do a voiceover, because the quality is just yeah, something I cannot live with. The others seem a bit better, but yeah, please bear with me while I try to make all of this work. Now, this was a pretty interesting thing that I've noticed. Although there was a belt going under there, I couldn't drag one to replace it. I had to remove the upper belt and then drag the belt below. Although the upper belt went in the exact same position again. So I think there's definitely some things that the game still needs to address when it comes to belts. But yeah, this patch is almost dried up. 16k is gonna go almost instantly. But I did connect iron to the gear supply so that we can I can get by just a bit longer without having to bring resources from another ore patch or from another planet. Now, this one is going to keep going for quite a while, so I do want to grab this patch as well, so I will just leave it as is. Probably in one of the next episodes I'll have to do I'll have to tear all of this down and just do either tap into another iron ore patch from here, or maybe even bring resources from the new production base. Oh, and this one is actually over. Apparently that arc smelter never had the inserter, which is a bit of a shame. I'll just let it process all the ingredients and yeah, just clean this space up. I'm sure I'll be able to fit something else in here in the near future. And I guess I can just reverse this belt and just have everything continue to work as it used to. Now, in the upcoming episodes, I will replace this with just shipping the 2 required ingredients in from the other planet. But for now, this will do. And we have we have a supply of blue tubes coming again. Science was off for quite a while. Other patches seems to still be holding up, but well, now we can see that most of my factories are working. We had a huge bottleneck on processors. I do believe that processors is the first major item that is a bit more difficult to scale with simple setups. And Yeah, I'm thinking here, I'm thinking whether I should put a few more hydrogen collectors, but I think that for now there is enough supply of hydrogen. There might be even an oversupply fairly soon, as we're gonna continue burning through the existing um, I think it's processed oil supplies that we've stockpiled, and that's the reason why I've actually stockpiled everything from the beginning of the game, because I knew that as we get into this stage of the game, the balance is gonna change dramatically, and hydrogen is theoretically an infinite resource because we don't need anything to produce it. Actually, we don't even need to provide power. Same for deuterium. Now, the next bottleneck, as we can see here, is going to be the blue rings and the green thingies, the green turbines. I keep forgetting their name. I should realistically disassemble the processors line. I should also disassemble the semi microcrystalline conductors, I think they're called, something like that, because I am producing them on another planet and I can just import them. They're fairly expensive to produce here because of silicon. For now, let's just increase the production of gears, even if just temporarily, to kind of allow things to keep up and have a decent supply of ingredients. And yeah, I am thinking to get a few more thermal power plants over on the other planet, because power will consume quite fast once we start dropping ILS builds left and right. Now, the one thing I do not notice here, and it's gonna be problematic, is that as I departed this planet, my power production was already, my power supply was already at 50% or even less, so I won't be able to go full speed towards the Sirius 1, but fortunately it was in low orbit, so it is enough fuel to successfully make it over. Barely. But, well, this is the tricky part, and I'm gonna struggle to actually get out of the lava here. I'm trying to see if I can somehow reach out to a place where I have a power supply, and fortunately I am just in reach of that. But, and I think that this is potentially a bug, or if not a very interesting mechanic, my battery won't actually charge even after the towers are placed. So, even though, yeah, you can see that the tower is placed, I'm definitely within its covering radius, I still, and there is power on the grid, my battery is still not charging. Why? I do not know. Maybe it's a sphere? Maybe I need to be on the same level? Anyway, I can fortunately build a bit of soil, a bit of foundation under me, and as soon as I got elevated, the power charging started to work. And we need to wait for power. I should set up personal logistics to always keep me topped up with some fuel for my personal consumption. But yeah, now I am trying to think what's the next item that I want to build, and I think it's quite important to get all the base ingredients up and running, because, well, they're called base ingredients for a reason. They're gonna be used across all recipes, and I will need each and every single one of them for something. And while it might be a long process, it is a bit painful to build over that beautiful lava lake, but, well, sacrifices need to be made. I think that, yeah, we're just gonna duplicate the regular smelting blueprint, and the next thing that I want to get is stone, probably. Stone is used in quite a few recipes. It's definitely used in mass production for buildings and especially for foundation. So it makes sense to have stone. Also, getting glass is important. Getting the energetic graphite is something that I will want to set, because they're all used in quite a few early products. The main goal for the next few episodes is to get the, I think they're called something like electromagnetic turbines, the blue thingies. I'll just call them the blue thingies. The blue rings are going to be used in a lot of recipes, and they're quite expensive to make. They require a lot of ingredients. So setting an ad hoc production line might prove challenging. It would be interesting to make a series where I'm only using ILSs to transport resources, but the main distribution is via belts. So not localized builds, but basically the equivalent of factorial builds without logistic bots, because ILSs are for all intents and purposes the equivalent of bots. Now, in Dyson Sphere you cannot really do builds without ILSs. You need to have access from resources from multiple planets, and using vessels is the only way to automate getting all the resources where you need them. So that is something that you need to build, that you need to research and use extensively. But when it comes to actual base design, base building, I think it would be interesting to see how a base with proper throughputs, with balanced input and output would look like. How much of a belt spaghetti you'd have to deal up with, or how huge of a boss you'd have to create to be able to sustain some of the end game technologies. So right now I am still deciding which recipe to start putting down, and I finally decided on stone bricks after a bit of a debate. And there was also something that I was considering here, and that is whether I should, when doing steel, whether I should do dedicated steel build or shared with iron. So basically have as an input resource have either iron ore or iron ingots. And I am leaning at this point more towards having a dedicated build, because now iron can be, I won't have everything producing at full capacity at all times, and an iron output, an iron ILS can sometimes provide enough buffer into the steel ILS and provide enough buffer to the home planet as well, and still not notice the difference, at least at the very beginning of the game. Later on, having, if I'm gonna do a full calculated throughput on all the inputs, it might be a better idea to do shared, so to get iron ore in and get steel directly out. But that being said, this is not the only place where this would be applicable. Steel is the same as, I think they're called prisms, optic prism or something like that, where it's basically turning stone into glass and then into prisms. And same for silicon, for instance, or even more so if you don't have silicon deposits, you go stone to silicon ingots, and then to crystals, whatever the crystal name is, I don't remember it from the top of my head. But yeah, while talking, I did manage to set up the filters, set up most of the build. I am now trying to figure out which stone, there are quite a few stone deposits on this planet, and I'm trying to figure out which stone deposit to tap. And the reason why I've picked this one, the one, well, actually these two, not just that one, is because they're right on the equator, and this is prime real estate to build, to have ILS builds because of the consistent grid layout. So I'm actually going to tap into both of them. They're not huge deposits, like 300, and I think the other one is, yeah, 436. That's gonna be depleted in no time once we start mass producing things like sails for the Dyson Swarm, for instance. So in the near future, draining the resources on a planet like this is going to be quite fast. Right now I kind of want to drain them because they're in the way, and as I have mentioned quite a few times, and I'm probably gonna mention a few times over, I do not like building over resources. Even though the game allows you to do that, even though the game says, oh yeah, sure, you can build, you can bury the resources over, do whatever you want, and if you ever need to mine them, you can mine them, I still, yeah, feel kind of awkward mining, putting something over resource deposit, because I know for a fact that I will want to mine that resource patch at some point, and then I'll have to struggle to make somehow clear that build and get those miners in there. Now, the good part is that once I get to plains miners, I think they're called, mining is going to become substantially easier and faster because the plane miner has a huge area of operation, double the speed, so they're way easier to set up. But that is still quite a bit away. Although I am really excited just by the thought of actually getting there and making all of this miner placement and multiple belt placement a thing of the past. It is quite slow. Now, unfortunately, I am out of resources, but, well, unlike Factorio, the Icarus actually has a built-in smelter, which is kind of interesting. So I can just grab a bit of iron ore and craft those extra power poles that I need to get this patch going. And just a few quick power poles, and we should have, well, I do need to connect this to the main grid apparently. There is that copper PLS, not that far by, so power should come in just a second. And I just realized that there is one mining platform that I haven't connected. I'm too far to manually handcraft it, but yeah, we have stone. We should fairly soon see drones starting to deliver. There we have it. All the drones are flying outbound. I also need to set up the correct recipes here. So let's do that really quick. I think I am getting slightly better at copy pasting. I really wish there would be a way to do this in an easier manner. And everything is placed down here, so with these last few copy pastes, we have stone bricks, which is another thing that we can cross off our list. I am trying to make sure that everything works properly. I'm just looking at items, making sure that they're actually properly stacked. But as we can see, concrete is slowly pouring into the ILS. I can now, well, I could theoretically build a few more things if I had magnetic rings, which unfortunately I do not, so we'll have to handcraft more. I could not be lazy and head back to my home planet to get a few more assemblers. Interesting that they're called assemblers. I think this is the first time I'm realizing that those are called assemblers and not smelters. But yeah, I am out of green chips, so I will steal a couple from over here. So I don't have to handcraft the chips as well. Now magnets are pretty pretty high on the priority list to build. I do not want to build iron plates either. Those ones I can get from here, from multiple places even. There we have it, 300 iron plates, ingots. Let's get some belt. I will try to stay here just to cut a bit on travel time and focus a bit more on build time. Now there is the distance for stone should be identical to the distance for iron in terms of how much space I need to reserve. There are a couple of items that have longer distances required, one of them being the magnets. But I think that this is a good time to make a cut in this episode. It has been a pretty long one. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you here next time.